All right, the black gold. Let me make sure. Can y'all? I need two people to verify. You guys can see my screen. Two people. Two people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Cool. So the Black Gold Nation presents cinematic connections for revolutionary change, an engaging, enlightening, and entertaining assessment of movies as it relates to the forward progress of Black people in America, Africa, and the diaspora. Come on, computer, catch up. All right, what is the Black Gold Nation movement? The Black Gold Nation movement is an international organization that seeks to liberate and save Black people by establishing our own towns/cities, whereby we control the environment to make our people bigger, better, and stronger. It is our contention, our belief, the supporters, members, leaders of this movement, that when we allow other people to control our space, we lose, period. Whenever we allow other people to control any aspect of that space, any systems in that space that other people control, we always find ourselves on the bottom, be it the educational system, the political system, agricultural system, spiritual systems, security systems. Whenever we allow other people to control the entire space or any aspect of that space, we always find ourselves completely locked out or on the losing end of those systems. So since we no longer want to be locked out, since we no longer want to lose, we understand that we absolutely must own and our control the space where we live as much as possible. Why we came to be, based on the understandings, teachings, practices, and strategies of past and current organizations that our leadership has lived, studied, and are taught, and the need to continue doing, we build upon the successes minus the mistakes to provide our people solutions that work now to implement a 100-year plan to build power. So we believe that all of those righteous brothers and sisters who've come before us, all of those movements, all of them were trying to do a very righteous and necessary thing that still has to be done. None of them were completely successful, which means it is on us, brothers and sisters who are alive and well right now in 2021 moving forward. It's on us to pick up the baton and run our leg of the race as best we can, because that righteous work, the necessary work, is still not completed. We're still not completely free. So to do that, we got to study, we got to understand, we got to learn what they did, what they got right, so we can build upon and make it better. Also, what they didn't get right or what they didn't fully understand, so that we don't make the same mistakes, because we don't have that kind of time. And we're doing all of this so that we can implement a plan to build power for the next 100 years, because we understand that what happens to our people happens because we don't have the power to stop it. So whatever we are doing, if it's not about building power, it's probably a waste of time, because power is where it's at. And more importantly, we want to ensure that what we do as adults to build power, we prepare our children to receive what we are building now, so they can add their plan to build to build power for the next 100 years for them, so that as a people, we will always be 100 years out. So with that, I'm going to turn this thing over to Brother Craig, who's going to break down this movie, The Banker, for us. It's on you, Brother Craig.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Tamani and I wanted to do this film a year ago, but when it came out, it was limited in terms of the viewing platform. It was released on Apple. It appears that all of these entities, Apple, Netflix, everybody's trying to have their own movies and TV shows. And I gotta tell you, it is amazing to know it's so many goddamn movies and TV shows out there. I mean, would I tell you that the architects and engineers and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy inundate the minds of our people with, and all people, period, to keep them distracted with so much entertainment that it is, again, without spirituality and right culture, you won't be able to sift through what is edutainment versus entertainment. And this film is one of those edutainment films that has been hidden amongst all of the other films and TV shows that's out there. But this is a very important film that came out last year. So as always, I like to get started by getting an overview from everybody on what they thought about the film, The Bank.
Okay, I'll go. Good morning, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'll go because I'm gonna have to slip out of here, and I'm not sure when.
Okay.
First of all, I'm gonna lay claim to my state of mind right now. But I saw the movie before I'm in this current state of mind. Right now, I'm in a I don't know what you would really call it with the Derek Chauvin trial going on, and then with the 243 voter suppression bills set to become law in 43 states, with Texas being one of them. You know, it's kind of got me like, ooh, cynical, I guess you would say. So I did see the movie before I got in that state of mind. When I saw the movie, and just the sheer fact that it began with a trial, I said, oh God, here we go again. I'm tired of seeing movies of us, no matter how smart, how great we are. I'm tired of seeing movies where we lose again. I'm ready for movies that show us how to win. You know, I'm tired of seeing lessons of what not to do. About movies on lessons of, I want to see movies on lessons of what we can do. So, nevertheless, I watched it with an open mind of what can I learn from this movie. And really, I came away with, you know, like, okay, finally, the brothers didn't lose everything. You know, it kind of reminded me of Ice Cube and Mike Epps in All About the Benjamins. They went
Yeah.
did the time, but they did save some of the money, and they
Yeah.
walked away with more than a lesson of how ruthless, once again, white folks are. You know, so that kind of saved the movie for me. I mean, it's like, I mean, because it kind of, I kind of ready, I guess, for kind of movies like, or things like, I mean, even though Black Panther was fictitious, it gave you hope that there's something, here's something we could sink our teeth in. We could start trying to build this, you know what I mean? Like what Brother Harlan is doing with his things. What can you do to make Wakanda? Well, what can we do? We didn't, okay, not we've seen all of the movies that tell us what not to do. That's not what I'm saying. But how about creating a platform where, okay, let's take these movies, when we know what to do, how can we do that? So my overall take was, it's a good movie, good information to know, good stuff to know. 1,000 times over, we know how ruthless white people are. So, but like I said, it ended with me with a good feeling, a fuzzy, that, oh, they did start doing things in the Bahamas or wherever they went when they realized, when they didn't give all the money. So they did have a, well, maybe not a solution, but it wasn't a total loss. So, I'm complete.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll go next. I'll say that it was enlightening and, you know, inspiring in ways to know that two Black men in that day and time were able to accomplish such amazing things, you know, in spite of, you know, the situation of melanated folks at the time. It exposed Bernard's weaknesses in that he trusted white people. I mean, unfortunately, he just did, whether it was via a gentleman's agreement or trusting that the law was going to do right by him, when in fact it's manipulated or changed in order to continue to oppress. I think he learned a valuable lesson. Hope, well, at least the second time. The first time, I don't think he quite got the lesson, but hopefully the second time he got it. And it didn't really, other than going to the Bahamas, and it didn't really go into greater detail about what they did or what they were able to accomplish after that. But, you know, just in some of the phrases that they put on the screen, I mean, it was just amazing how many buildings they were able to acquire and, you know, over the years, and the things they were able to do were pretty awesome. Yeah, but
Yeah.
man, like Sister Fabu said, it's like, damn it, here we in with a in court, going to jail. Only because we're Black, because had they been white, none of this would have, I mean, it wouldn't even be news. It wouldn't even be movie worthy otherwise. So that's my comments.
Cool. Next.
Sister Noma, you want to go next? Sister Noma going once. Sister Noma going twice. Okay. I thought the movie was awesome. My perspective of things is kind of different when it comes to most things. I like Tara, and I'm sure Funi Sister Fabu as well. I'm blown away by what they were able to do doing Jim Crow. So I'm thinking, well, hell, they could do it then, and we don't have those same issues now. Then hell, it's wide open, and I don't know how many black banks we have, completely black, 100% in this country, but I know it's not enough. So if these two brothers can do what they did on the level that they did it during that time, then when it goes back to whenever we talk about the 200 towns, villages, and cities that we established, that we have yet to do again in so many years, it's really on us to do, because no one's going to do it for us, and we have everything we need within us to do it. I couldn't help but to smile multiple times because I see my relationship with Brother Craig the same as Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson. Of course, Brother Craig is Samuel and I'm Anthony. it's like, boy, okay. And I'm like, well, wait. So that made me laugh multiple times, and because I know it's coming. But at the end of the day, I felt, I was surprised that the white boy looked out for him, and he bought them the property. I wasn't surprised at how it ended at all, because I knew it wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be at the end. But overall, I thought it was a good movie because it's yet another story about Black progress, Black excellence, Black intelligence. I mean, the brother was extremely intelligent, and what he was able to do with that intellect during that time. So for me, it was educational and entertaining. It was a good movie. It was a learning lesson, and I'm like, well, hell, if they can do it, then let's do it again. So I thought it was cool.
All right. And Naomi said she didn't have an opportunity to watch the film, so she'll get all of the inside scoop, and then when she goes back to watch the film, she'll be able to tap into it. All right. Okay. So let's get started. So what year and where does the film start? Sister Fabu mentioned it starting somewhere, but what year, what city?
1965.
1939
the court case.
in Willis.
What year?
Well, the court case was in 1965.
When in 1939 in Willis, Texas?
Yeah.
I said 1939 in Willis, Texas, when everything got started.
No, the original scene starts where?
In 1965.
Willis, Texas.
Yeah, 1965.
The court case.
Yeah, because you had mentioned it, Sister Fabu. It started in the court. I mean, in a place, but it wasn't actually a court. It was a congressional hearing, and so it starts in 1965 in Washington D.C. in the at a congressional hearing, and I like how a lot of films will do this. Now, they'll start at the end and then work your way back to then tie it in to the end at the end. So you start with where you're going to go, and then you backtrack to show how you got there and tie it all in. So here we have Bernard Garrett, a central figure on being interviewed his testimony for a congressional hearing on banking fraud, which we learned that at the end, but that's where we start. So the first question, and this is how, when I do films, especially like this, because this is of course not a documentary. So you watch the film. What I typically do, instead of researching the film, the backstory first, I watch the film and then I go and research the backstory. So I sent you guys some information that you can read up on so you can analyze the historical accuracy of the film. And, you know, a lot of people get caught up with this, oh, well, the film didn't do this, film didn't do this. It's like, look, bro, if a film makes it to the screen, whether it's the small screen television, where a lot of films are now, that's how they're doing a lot of films, they're going from production to video, or the big screen, that is very important that it's there. You can then go do your research on it, but just the mere fact that the damn film makes it to a point of invoking the thought. Now, true, the majority of people don't know how to think. The majority of people don't know how to analyze things. But when you can make it, a film can make it past the idea stage and get produced, it truly, truly helps some of us who know how to think, who know how to research, who are interested in learning. So that is very, very important. So what was going on in the United States in 1965 for Black folks?
The Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movement.
Okay. What else? That's good. That's good. Anything else? All right, so 1965, the following, the year that comes after 1964, the 64 Civil Rights Act was passed. And so 1965, and Sister Fabu referenced all of these laws that are going towards attacking voting, and I love it. Just so you know this, I love it, because this is the only way you get Negroes to goddamn start to look at life in a more serious manner. Because until a Negro is attacked, he ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. The majority, and we're talking about Negroes, we ain't talking about Black folks. Black folks, of course, have always viewed and valued voting as important, and we'll get into that, but 1965, this is where King is pushing for voting rights, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and it was passed, right? And that's a very important part because there's a photo taken in real life that was also featured in the movie, and the photo featured Bernard Garrett, Joe Morris, with who? Very important photo.
Was it
LBJ?
Was that at the end or in the movie?
Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yeah, LBJ. Yeah, I saw that at the end. I didn't see it in the movie.
But you know, they showed it in the beginning too. You know, with Anthony Mackie and Samuel Jackson posing, but then they came back and showed it at the end. So that was very important because that's what was going on. That's why that photo was so important. He had, because remember now, under LBJ, you get the Voting Rights Act and you get the Civil Rights Act of 1964, right? And so this was a very calculated move in order to make, part of the, as we talked about, why Negroes are just entrenched with the goddamn Democratic Party. LBJ is a very important reason why, although we know he was a hardcore racist as well. So again, this game, the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism is not one-dimensional. And that's what makes this thing so complex as we analyze this for the benefit of what we're doing and what we are planning to do with the Black Gold Nation on a macro level and on a micro level. So that's where the film starts. That's what was going on. And now, here's another question. So we looked at the film Judas and the Black Messiah a few weeks ago. So to put this in its proper context, what year did the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense formally get started?
I'm a guess and say 1962.
1966.
66, okay.
1966. And who are the two people who started the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense?
Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton.
And where were they from?
Where were they from or where they started?
Where were they from?
Louisiana.
Yeah, I think Huey's from Louisiana. I'm not sure about Bobby Seale.
He's right outside of Houston, Texas, Liberty, Texas.
Okay.
He was born in Dallas, but grew up in Liberty, Texas. All right.
Okay.
I believe he's related to Tara now, but we did no research on it because her father's people's name is Seals, and it was like Seal for them. So it's just very interesting because sometimes genealogy play that. Now, so that was 1966, a year before this trial. These guys were maneuvering in the 1950s. I want you to put this in context. These guys were maneuvering in California, making major deals in the 1950s. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Now, the brain trust of the two, and this doesn't throw any shade on Joe Morris, who is Samuel L. Jackson's character, but the brain trust is Anthony Mackie's character, whose name is Bernard Garrett. Where was he from?
Shoot, somewhere in the South. Is it Mississippi or Georgia?
But he was from California, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't from there. I think he was from somewhere in the South.
He was from Texas.
There you go.
Okay.
You remember the part?
Can y'all hear me? I said yes.
What part, Sister Babu?
Willis.
Willis.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Willis. There you go. Where is Willis, Texas?
Oh, yeah.
It's North Texas.
It's right out. It's right outside of Houston.
Yeah, well, east, west, up there.
Are y'all connected to Dodge yet?
Connected to who?
Are y'all connected to Dodge yet? Bernard Garrett is from Willis, Texas, right outside of Houston. We're analyzing the film, and we're part of the Black Gold Nation, and the Black Gold Nation is headquartered out of where?
That would be Houston.
All right. So what is my point for that history lesson? The Black Panther Party, which gets all the rave reviews, were started by two brothers from the South. The brother who initiated all of this these phenomenal accomplishments in this movie, he was from the South. You get it? Because remember now, we're supposed to be backwater, dumbasses, can't make things happen. And Nomi is on the phone call, and Nomi, where are you from, Nomi? Let them know where you're from, Nomi.
Well, I was born in Jonesboro, Louisiana.
Exactly. And why is Jonesboro, Louisiana, so important to this question that I'm asking about the Black Panthers?
Oh, the Deacons of
Exactly.
yeah, started. My grandfather was a part of that.
Exactly. Nomi's grandfather was a part of the Deacons for Defense, which started in Jonesboro, Louisiana, and was popularized by the Bogalusa chapter, which the movie Deacons for the Self-Defense was popularized by Forrest Whitaker, and the Deacons for Defense from the goddamn South, small ass town, Jonesboro, Louisiana, set the tone for the Black Panther Party and all of this other stuff. The goddamn South, the dirty South, the goddamn dirty South. You better recognize who we are, who we be.
Hey, Craig, I'll just tell a quick story right quick. My grandfather and all of the members, they would take turns at night, and they would get on top of Hawk Elementary School, and they would defend their area like that. They get up there with shotguns overnight, and they would be able to watch who would come in, to their area. And they did that every night, and just be on top of the tallest building to defend against anybody coming in.
Come on. So that means your granddaddy wasn't no punk.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't no goddamn sideline observer. He was in the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's in your damn spirit to not be no punk.
That's true.
On both sides, your grandmama's side and your granddad.
Right.
So that's very important that we understand that all of these ideas that impacted this damn country have come out of the goddamn South. In particular, Louisiana and Texas. That's very important that we understand that, because that's where Bernard Garrett was from.
And you know, Brother Craig, that also highlights the fact that, and we've talked about this, how the Panthers couldn't have been, the Panthers couldn't have been looking to their own for answers and solutions, because like you just said, from the Deacons to Defense with the Brothers and the Banker, there were examples, and Brothers and Sisters in Africa, there were examples of Black people who had done things that they could have done that would have changed everything. But of course, where you get your money and who you sleep with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we get Bernard Garrett having been born in the 1920s, but the film then shifts from DC to Willis, Texas in 1939. I think Garrett was born in 1922. So he's a young man, shining shoes outside of a bank. What was he doing every day? Shining goddamn shoes.
He was learning, taking notes.
He was eavesdropping.
He was a spook by the door.
Spook by the door. Spook by the window.
Awesome.
Okay. See, that'll go over most people's heads. He was a spook who sat by the door. So now do you see why I had us look at the spook that sat by the goddamn door?
Yes, sir.
So he was listening to financial conversations and taking notes to learn what two major subjects?
Math and business?
Nope.
I'm guessing.
I mean, yeah, yeah, you can say business. Math definitely was a subject, but two things I'm looking for.
Who was doing what and how they were doing it?
He was learning about finance,
Okay.
real estate,
All right.
finance, and real estate, finance and real estate, because you need finance in order to purchase what?
Real estate.
Exactly. Now, one of the greatest parts in that early part of the goddamn film was him listening to the conversation. White folks passing by him now, but who did not let his ass pass?
The black dude.
Dude, goddamn Negro.
Hey, what you doing here?
Get your ass, boy. What you doing about the white folks?
What you doing listening to white folks' business?
Now,
That's what he said.
now, why is that? Why am I pointing out that part of the goddamn film? Because these white folks are constantly having major discussions around their waiters, their goddamn butlers, their cooks. Follow me?
Yeah. It's like the brother saying in the spook, a black man with a mop can go anywhere.
Yep.
You know, and it's also like the movie Trick Baby.
Exactly.
They say everything around the help because they don't see the help as being people.
Exactly.
Those are gonna be our greatest spies.
Which we're going through now. Trick Baby is a part of this movie.
Hell yeah.
Spook that sat by the door is a part of this movie. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There's a reason why we select these particular films. But the interesting thing is when you look at a film and you look at real life, just think about it. Rich white folks having billion-dollar discussions around Negro females and Negro males every goddamn day. Because what do they know?
Black people ain't gonna do nothing, or that's what they believe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or they think that at least.
They really think that. Yeah. They believe that. And they also believe Negro can't goddamn think.
That's right.
They ain't got no goddamn resources. They ain't got no goddamn connection.
Right.
We can talk about any goddamn thing.
That's right.
Well, that was just like when the white wife, that's when the wives, pretty much made the
They can't be smarter than you.
Yeah, they don't know more than you. And he had to cut her just short of saying because they black.
That's right.
I mean, clearly that's what she was thinking.
You knew what she meant. That's why I said you can't say that. Those are my friends.
So that's why you can't tell me nothing about no white folks. It's Skinner, period. All right, so that's very important that we look at those little subtleties in the damn movie, whether they're intended or not intended, but for that to be in the film, that was intentional. That was intentional as it relates to that. And as a symbol of that overall deal. And the security guard definitely went to go tell his father, and his father was going through his note, and he was just like, damn, you smart. God, damn, you off the chain. And so his dad is questioning him. And so, do y'all remember what he told his dad? Woo! God.
Shoot. I don't remember.
He told his dad, I was just trying to learn how they made money. God damn. I was just trying to learn how they made money. Now, why is that important to the goddamn security guard? He's around him every day, and he's comfortable with what?
His status, his existence, how he's living.
Exactly.
But I'm willing to bet you he complains about it every day he go home.
Exactly. Yeah. So he in the bank ain't trying to learn how money is made. But the little brother is outside the bank shining shoes. Because what does he physically see? there's a difference, not only in skin pigmentation, there's a difference in our side of town.
Mhm.
And I want to learn how money is made. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I think Garvey has the quote, the world is run by intelligent people. But ignorant people carry the burden.
Carry the burden. Yes, sir.
God dang. But we reject information,
Mm-hmm.
which now can lead into potential knowledge. But there has to be something in you. Follow me now. Some people, as I say, are predestined. Because he was born in Willis, Texas. His daddy ain't teaching him this goddamn shit. His mama ain't teaching it to him. You know damn well the Negro school ain't teaching it to him. Well, so where did he get the spark? He damn sure wasn't learning from the security guard.
It was already there.
It was already in him.
Yeah, and the security guard obviously didn't have it.
You goddamn right.
Yeah, because security guard, like Sister Tara said, white folks' business, and the young mother was like, "Shit, this could be my business too."
Again, some people are predestined with that spirituality, although it still has to be unlocked, unleashed, and activated so they can really morph into this thing. And there are levels to it, but it was already in it as a child. But it goddamn sure wasn't in his dad. But the dad has to be trained. The security guard, I don't know if he wouldn't have given a damn about no training, because he only believed in white folks. So that's very important to point out. But his dad tells him something. As he's telling his dad about learning how to make money, his dad says something very profound. And it's at the 3 minute and 38 second mark, about 3:37. And he said, son, and this is slave mentality about you. He said, son, you were just born wrong
time.
No, not the wrong time.
Oh,
the wrong color.
Wrong color. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Go back and look at it.
Wow.
3 minutes and 37 seconds. So you because he's amazed. His son is breaking himself down. He got mathematical formulas and he's listening and he's learning. His dad told him, God damn, you just born with the wrong color.
That's a hell of a thing to say to a child. It's a hell of a thing to say to a child.
That's very, but one of my former influences, Dr. Daisy Briere, former OBGYN in Shreveport, he said, Brother Lee, man can only give you what he got. He's from Haiti. His dad could only give him what he had. And so that's what he saw. And that's the unfortunate reality.
Hey, Brother Craig, Brother Trey has his hand up.
All right.
Brother Trey?
Brother Trey?
Hey, good morning. I don't know if you were gonna talk about that, but I just wanted to highlight the role of, I guess, of us within holding back, I guess, just the trauma, like the part where he's like, well, have you ever seen anybody hanging from a tree? And just how that conditioning has really, really affected us and how we hold ourselves back. And, like Mother, the talk, right? Like, we're witnessing right now the Derek Chauvin trial and, this idea that we have to prepare our children for the conditions of this world. And, because you could be a George Floyd. And so, and like how that's very intentional, like, you know, how they kill us in front of, you know, in front of the mother and the child, you know, or just, and then that child raises another child, and then, you know, stifles them from moving it forward out of fear of their lives. And so I guess it's just it's understandable, you know. It's like, okay, I want you to survive, like I want you to, you know, I want you to make it. I'm trying to give you the tools to navigate this world, but how it hinders us from moving forward. So I think it's just, it's a very, like, it's very complicated. And it's not to it's not to like condemn parents or, you know, people from not wanting their children to do dangerous activity, because it is dangerous activity.
True.
And
True.
so anyway, so it's just, it's really sad. Like where that is, like, okay, do I push my child to potentially, you know, fear, you know, put their life without, you know, trying to protect. And so, but actually that doesn't protect us. Like that actually like keeps us, you know, keeps us oppressed. And so,
Um,
anyway.
this is Nomi. May I say something right quick?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was just wanting to bring it up.
Okay.
That's a good point. Good point.
Yes. No, it's very good point. And I just wanted to say that to expound on that, while I had one grandfather who was a deacon of defense, my other grandfather in 1948 was dragged on the back of a police car in Mejia, Texas, and you know, dismembered him, killed him. So I say that to say, you know, the talk is nothing new.
Right.
It's been going on for long, you know, for centuries. And and in spite of, despite of, we have to have warriors and you know, people of courage who are going to fight against it anyway. So I just wanted to say that, to, you know, show, you know, on one side I have a grandfather who was very active in civil rights, and on the other side I had a grandfather who was killed because we don't still don't have them, you know. So, but in spite of that, we have to look forward and move to do the right thing. That's justice for us. So anyway, I just wanted to interject.
And that's why, Brother Trey and Sister Nomi, that's why I say, and I'm pretty sure I say it at every presentation I give, and I'm always trying to let Black people know that our goal in this organization is to control the space where we live. And we're not just talking about controlling a neighborhood or a street. We really have to learn how to run municipalities, which we cannot do if we don't understand power, if we don't understand politics, if we don't have spirituality and right culture. We just can't do it. So everything we do is about, again, bringing our people together to find the right people so that we can control these spaces, so that the things that Brother Trey mentioned, so we don't have to have these kinds of conversations the same way, because we're living in a different environment and a different time. So, and what you guys are saying is right and exact, which is why it's so important that we do what we're doing in this movement, so that we can control some geographic spaces in this country, period.
Exactly. And I'm so glad that Trey and Nomi both shared that information, because Trey, I was going to reference it, but I'm glad that you referenced it, because that was the extension of the wrong color statement that his dad made, and bringing some reality to the focus, to let it know, and that was important. But to Nomi's point, that is reality as well. But here's the thing, Trey, and this is what happened with me direct in 1995, when the Creator gave me the insight on what I was supposed to be doing with the rest of my life. And I was 28 years old, making $70,000 with the corporation that Tyro ended up working for, after they merged with Zeneca, AstraZeneca. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep with Astra Pharmaceuticals. And so I decided, after getting this envision from the Most High and the ancestors, I left corporate. I left my comfort. I left all of that. This is 26 years ago. I left. And I'll never forget, and this is to your point about the trauma, but here's the flip side of it. I'll never forget a quote that I read by Martin Luther King. And though I was not rolling with Martin Luther King's philosophy, Martin Luther King said some profound things. Even in his idealism, he had some gangster conversations periodically. And this is one of his most gangster things, but it didn't come directly from him per se. It came from his mentorship, his brief mentorship from Reverend Vernon John, who was the Christian Malcolm X. And that's going to be a movie that we watch as well. We probably do that next, Tamani, the Reverend Vernon John story. Because Reverend Vernon John was the pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church before Martin Luther King came in. And them sellout ass, punk ass Negroes got rid of it. Bourgeoisie and pseudo bourgeoisie got rid of it because he was forcing their ass to get up and do something. But here's what Martin Luther King said. He said this early in his life. A man who is not willing to die for something, Trey, ain't fit to live.
Yeah. Yep.
See, you're going to die. You're going to die any goddamn way. The question is, how are you going to die? But here's the thing, Trey, this gets to your point. The first law of humanity, first law of nature, is what, Trey?
The right to live?
Exact self-preservation.
Self-preservation, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, whether you are predestined to be righteous, whether you're predestined to be evil, or you're part of the middle where you ain't predestined to be either one, but you're born to go either way, depending on who can get to you and influence your mind. Regardless of how you come into this world, the first law of nature is self-preservation. When you're just born and you're not predestined, you are afraid to die. You are afraid to die, although it's more than that. So what ends up happening when you don't learn how to embrace spirituality and right culture, the majority of people sit idle, stand idle, lay dormant, and do nothing. And that's why the situation continues. Because yes, the obstacle exists. Yes, the force exists. Yes, the power exists. But what the hell are you going to do about it? I mean, that's the ultimate question.
Right.
Yeah. So because here's what we know. And that's what I posted on Facebook a few weeks ago. What entities are the three best teachers? And the three best teachers in your life, the creator, the universe, and history. So history shows us dormant and just sitting on your ass and doing nothing does. History also shows us what standing up can do. The question then becomes, what are you going to end up doing?
That's right.
The reason that people are dormant, Trey, is because they lack the spirituality and right culture. And so they do nothing. Even when people stand up for their punk ass, most of them still ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. So now you question the revolutionary person and you say, why do y'all do this? Why don't you just conform and roll like everybody else? Because it ain't in the goddamn DNA.
We're stifling the spirits of our warriors. We have most of them locked up. And so for not, the people, I should say that it's deeper than this, but I kind of joke and say like, the people who are not conforming to the system, I'm like, I feel like those are the people that we need to, they're like, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, no, I'm not going to be a slave to the corporate America and work a 9 to 5 and go to college and get in debt and, do all of this. Like they work in the system any way that they can. I'm like, more power to it. It's like, wow. And so, but it's just like, what is the purpose? Just to survive, just to live in a system where your people are in chains, literally and figuratively, like, so what purpose, in my radicalization process, I'm just like, wow, like I will die for this. Like I will give my life for this. And so, and that's a personal.
Now you're talking about being free, Trey. Now you're talking about being free, but here's the thing. That's the base level of it. So there's levels to the game. And as we get more into the movie, you'll see, although Bernard Garrett and Joe Morris were committed to being willing to die for this thing, they didn't have certain things as they tried to challenge the system. And that's why Tamani and I are always talking about the system. So if you're just coming in at an esoteric level and you see one little crack and you get in, understand the system will recalibrate on your ass. So you got to be able to recalibrate and adjust as well.
That's right.
One of my good colleagues has a brand and it's called Trey Mane, M-A-N-E. And people say, come on, Mane, M-A-N-E. You want to know what that stands for, Trey?
Movement and
it's cold-blooded, bro. Check this out. Mane, make adjustment, not excuse.
Well,
there it is.
Make adjustment, not excuses. And so it's so beautiful. ESPN has a segment that Chris Carter created when they're looking at crazy ass plays, boneheaded plays, and it's called Come On, Man. Come on, man. So when somebody says that they can't do it, what's supposed to be our response? Come on, man. Make adjustment, not excuse. Come on, man. Make adjustment, not excuse.
And Brother Craig, that's funny because in the military we say change, adapt, and overcome. and Brother Trey, I'm encourage you, man, to go to blackgoldmedia.net and watch the movie review of Trick Baby. Really, watch that, because what you just said is what we're talking about in that movie. And I'm going to give you 3 or 4 Revolutionary Code episodes to watch, Brother Trey, because we talked about the importance of the underground hustler, the pimp, the gangster, in our overall movement to be free. We can't make this thing work if we're not connected to people like that, because they bring us, like you just said, Trey, they bring something to the table that not everybody brings. And if we can put these kinds of spirits in the right environment, then like you said, Trey, those are our generals, those are our warriors, those are our entrepreneurs. They've just said to hell with the white man system because they see how it's full of caca. And I'm gonna do it my way, but they jeopardize their freedom and their salvation, and we can't afford to do that, which is why it comes back to every single thing we're always saying. We got to run our own space, to do our own thing, and most importantly, We got to go get our kids so they never get caught up in the white man system.
Exactly.
Because once you're in there, you're in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you're in there, you're in there.
And he got you.
And that's the unfortunate thing. So now we get to the part where Bernard Garrett finally leaves Texas. So it makes it appear that it was something immediate, but we know that it was not immediate because he was roughly 17 years old in 1939 when this situation happened, where he's caught eavesdropping outside of the bank, learning more and more about how they make money. And so the film now picks up in 1954. So if he's born in 22 and it picks up in 54, he's now 32 with a wife and child. Now, this is a part of Sister Fabu referenced making films that have positive inclination to it, positive plot. And this is a part where I don't like what Anthony Mackie did in the film, because they go to LA to live with in-laws and they go in a very, very nice car. Okay? I'm talking about a goddamn nice car. So if you don't do the research after you see the film, you miss the part where the truth is they go to California, they do go to LA, but they go in a beat up ass truck. They don't go in a very, very nice car. Why is that important? That is important because Anthony Mackie opted to overlook the struggle that Bernard Garrett went to. All right? See, because in real life, Bernard Garrett was a janitor. In real life, Bernard Mackie did own a cleaning service. He was doing odd jobs, because one thing that he told his wife's uncle, who wanted him, get this now, his uncle wanted him, he said, I can get your punk ass on with me. They got jobs. Man, that dude say, I ain't come out here to get no goddamn job. So you say, well, if he worked the job, why did he reject the job that his uncle-in-law offered him? Because had he taken that job, his days, his time would have been compromised. By working the odd jobs like being a janitor, you're doing those jobs in the evening or when business is closed. So he's able to now take his daytime, or a large part of his daytime, and now learn the real estate game in LA. And that's very important because due diligence, if y'all don't ever learn another term from me, due diligence is critical in every aspect of this game of life. Due diligence in spirituality, due diligence in right culture, due diligence in education, due diligence in economics, due diligence in socioeconomics, due diligence in politics. Due diligence when you even looking to see whether or not this is a female or male that I need to be involved. Due diligence is critical. So he was doing his research, his analysis, his study. He needed his time freed up. But he was working now, but the movie doesn't show that, okay? So that's why some of the articles that Tamani just showed, sent in the chat, you can look at one or two of them, and it gives some good backstory about this cat. So why is that important? He wasn't just sitting on his ass saying, oh, I'm going to do real estate, because guess what he had, Trey? He had a wife and he had a child. And he had a goddamn uncle-in-law who already was like, man, this Negro, real estate. You better get this job. You better get this goddamn job out here. Because all the people who do real estate, brother Tamani, in California, to make money is who?
White folks.
The white thing. So how dare you? Nigga, so now, Trey, he's automatically written off as being paranoid, schizophrenic, psychotic. You retarded. How dare you not want to work this? Good job. Man, we got good jobs down there. Okay? So it's very important that we understand that. And again, this is where the movie deviates to now show future success at the time that it didn't happen. But I get why they did it, but you can't, that's not a good thing to do. But ultimately, they do composite. You know, they can get away with that saying, well, it ultimately did happen. He did understand the importance of marketing and whatnot. So he does find a building. We go to the next thing. He finds an apartment complex. And it's like, he had vision. He had vision because he knew what? What did he know? Since this particular apartment building was in a white community, a white neighborhood, what did he know that was about to happen?
He knew the demographics were going to change.
Whoa! The goddamn demographics was going to change. And how did he know that the demographics were going to change, Brother Tamani?
He did his due diligence.
Diligence. Do y'all understand? Please tell me y'all understand.
Yeah, we understand.
Tyro, do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Naomi, do you understand?
I do. I get it.
Sister Babu, do you understand? Who else?
There you go. She said, yeah.
Okay. So he did his damn due diligence. Harlan is even on the phone. Harlan, I know your head understand. Harlan, do you understand what I just got to say? Harlan,
Yeah. Well, you know, I was talking to Michelle I actually need you to rewind. I missed one little nugget there. I remember you saying something about him. He got the apartment building. He was doing his due. I missed something.
So I was asking Harlan, I say he identified an apartment building in a white neighborhood.
Right.
And he was great at forecasting and whatnot. A change was about to happen, and I asked Tamani, how did he know a change was about to happen?
Oh, okay.
Because he did his due diligence. And so now, Tamani, since you answered that question correct, what due diligence in terms of the demographics, let's be specific, what due diligence concerning the demographics did he now realize?
I don't remember exactly what the cause was, but I think it was it black people, black teachers and professionals moving from one part of the city to another part, and that part they're moving to was a white part.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
Because the Negroes were just two blocks away, a couple of blocks away. So now you got an elevated so-called class of people who are going to want better housing, okay?
Yep.
Because they're trying to escape the thuggism, because, you know, they're trying to, I don't even think it was much thuggism at the time, but they were trying to escape the Negroes at the grassroots level.
That's right.
And so you go to the white area.
Right.
And so he saw that. So now he goes and does more due diligence, finds out who owns the damn apartment complex, and he now approaches it.
Yep.
And he has money now, but the money he didn't come specifically from Texas with. He had been building up income, and Harlan and I have had this conversation. Harlan builds his income through day trading, I do entrepreneurship. You're gonna do one or the other, or you're gonna work some kind of job, because in order to invest, you gotta have disposable income. You can't go put your goddamn electric money and your gas money on things, especially when you stand with a damn uncle-in-law who already looking at you like you retarded, talking about some goddamn real estate. Okay?
Right.
So needless to say, he goes to this guy, Mr. Barker, and he asked him to sell him the building below the asking price. And then he said to Mr. Barker, in essence, I want you to finance the additional money that you want, and then I'm gonna fix the building up, and then I'm gonna rent it out, and then I'll pay you your money back. And the white man like, huh? What are you doing? What the fuck you talking about? You already got the goddamn money, you don't. But the white man was like, boom. And so look, what does he do in the movie? He goes to the bank where Mr. Barker does business, and he now asks to see the lending officer who knows that Mr. Barker does business at the bank. And of course, through white supremacy racism, he cannot get in to have an audience, a meeting with the white dude. And so he did a damn tactic. Y'all remember the tactic that he used in order to meet the white boy, the banker? To have a meeting with him? Y'all remember what he did?
He waited outside the building, right? The bank building. Right?
Hey, bro, that's a Tyro did pharmaceuticals different than me. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. He worked in the hospital side. But Tyro could tell you, bro, that's a tactic that we use for the goddamn doctor.
Wait till they leave, huh?
Wait them
Yeah,
out.
wait out the door. Wait at the bathroom for their ass. Hey, I just need a second. I just need a second of your time. I'm with Astra Pharmaceuticals. That's what he did, right? So the banker calls Mr. Barker and is like, man, this dude said that you said he can get a loan in order to buy this building. And so Mr. Barker asked him a question. He said, do you think it is normal business custom to do that? He said, do you think it's normal business custom? And Bernard Garrett said, no, I don't think it's normal business custom. But it was that creativity and that ingenuity
That's right.
that attracted Mr. Barker to Bernard Garrett, because Bernard Garrett had a vision, he had intellect, and he had a concept. So what did we learn about, and Mr. Barker was an Irish cat. He wasn't necessarily no good white dude, but what did Mr. Barker see as it relates to Bernard Garrett that now opened up the door for him to buy his first building? What was it? What did he know about Bernard Garrett?
What Charles just said, vision. He saw intellect. He saw tenacity. He saw desire. He saw willingness to do. He saw creativity.
True.
Yeah.
And one other thing.
Probably opportunity. I can get up on this Negro.
Innovation.
Huh?
Determination, she said.
No, innovation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Innovation. My bad.
You saw all of that.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna ask this question to Tyro and Sister Babu, and because they've been in corporate in high levels. White folks keep Negroes like us. Why? And they elevate Negroes like us. Why? Because we can do what?
Sidney Fabu had to leave, but after Tara, I'd like to take a guess at it.
All right.
Because we can do something? Is that what you're saying?
But what can we do?
Play both sides?
Huh?
I don't know, play both sides?
Okay, play both sides. All right. To money?
Help them make money.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. You are a useful Negro.
You're a useful Negro.
And when you're not, he'll let you know because you won't be there. He's like, what happened? I don't need you no more.
That's the bottom line. You can make them some money, you can stay.
That's
You
right.
ain't making the money, you're gonna be gone.
Yeah, holla.
So all that, walking with your ass tightly scrolled together and sounding like them and, eating quiche and goddamn caviar. If your punk ass ain't making them numbers, if your punk ass can't make them no money, your ass don't get.
All right, somebody tried to call.
Everything you all said, innovation, determination, vision, persistence, all of that is true. He saw it all. Creativity, hard work, dedication, all of that's good. But the goddamn icing on the cake. Can he, Harlan, what do we call this? Can he close the deal? Can he make the money? He's talking a lot of shit. Can he make the money? And he did. And bruh, the movie now depicts just a little bit of the horror. When he walks into the apartment building, he's fixing it. The old white lady comes in and she say, nigga, what the hell you doing here? And he's like, I'm fixing the building. He's like, you can't be here after dark. And so he stated the code. So he knew the code, when you can work and all. So just think about all the stuff that they had to know, Brother Tobias.
I mean, he had to have the papers on him for when the police came.
And he knew they were coming.
His
Who
freedom
walks
paper.
around with
And he knew they
papers
were
on?
coming. That's right, Trey.
Right. Right.
So we don't even have to worry about what time to work right now and all this kind of shit.
Brother. And it's right there to take.
I get a goddamn thing. You don't want to do nothing. So he ends up, of course, meeting this white dude, Steiner, through his cousin, his wife's first cousin, and this sets the tone for the white boy becoming a double agent. But before we get to that part, the Barker part, I want to go deeper into that, Mr. Barker. They start making money. They start making stuff happen. But they had a gentleman's agreement. Was that smart or retarded?
Retarded.
Retarded.
She enunciated.
Retarded.
Retarded. 4 syllables.
And Naomi, just so you know, the gentleman's agreement was, although the white dude saw the ingenuity, creativity, and he saw him making money and whatnot, they agreed to go 50-50 in acquiring these properties. And, he would put up the financing in front the situation. This is how Bernard Garrett learned that technique of fronting. So in this particular instance, the white dude says, we're going to be 50-50, and I'll front the situation because he knew there ain't no Negro going to be able to do these deals. But what he didn't do, he didn't get it on paper. He didn't get it on paper.
Okay.
And of course, say that again, Naomi?
No, I was just saying, okay, I see.
Yeah, he didn't get it on paper. They had a gentleman's agreement, 50-50, of which the white boy was honoring, okay? Of which the white boy was honoring, but guess what you never know when you do a deal?
Who that person's married to?
You don't know who they married to, but you don't know if your punk ass gonna die the next day.
That's right.
You can't control death.
Or just any kind of switch up. He could have switched up too.
Yeah.
It could have been the death of the agreement.
That's right.
Exactly. You gotta have that on paper, bro. You can't. I get it though. I get it, but you gotta put that on paper. Because it's good that he would be in the background, but you got to let that be on paper.
And you know, Craig, realistically speaking, I can't remember the name of the book. Shoot, I can't remember the book. But realistically speaking, having it on paper doesn't guarantee that you're gonna be able to keep it, and they're not gonna, you know, still steal it from you. I get what you're saying, but however, I don't guarantee nothing.
And you're absolutely correct. That's why I said in dealing with these white folks.
Yeah.
The attorney knew. The attorney knew. The banker knew. Everybody knew. But the wife was just like, I don't give a damn. Who knows?
But that's that good white girl that everybody loves. The Negro males want to be with her.
Tara said,
Negro females want to look like her. Trey, you had something you was about to say?
No, I was just laughing. No, they want to look like the black woman.
Yeah, well, some of them now, but at the end of the day, you see how shrewd and gangster these cracker females really are, right? But Negro females want to have alliances with them, not knowing that there's always a goddamn hidden agenda with these white folks. And it's kind of hard for an evil person to really maneuver if they come straight evil. So they got to deceive your ass. They got to lie to your ass. So, but to the white boy's credit, he was fulfilling the deal until he died. And then when it came to the deal, the lawyer, like Tyra said, he knew the deal, all of that. But I think she offered him initially 2 cents on the dollar. And then he talked a little bit more, whoop, whoop, and she let it be known. Okay, nigga, I'm gonna give you 25 cents on a dollar, goddamn it. Take it or leave it, nigga. Cause if you think it's gonna be something more than that, we go to court, I bust your head open, baby. So these guys were going against all of the odds. Against all of the odds, they were going against all of the odds. So he hires a white boy who ends up working with his cousin-in-law on the apartment building. And what he learned from the Mr. Barker situation, well, I'm going to do the same thing and front the white boy, but this time I'm going to be in control of the situation. Okay? And so, of course, by now he's already met Samuel Jackson's character, Joe Morris, and now they're making major things happen. And these guys have the creativity, Sister Nomi, to say, you know what? We're going to buy the largest goddamn building in downtown LA. Boy, look, man, that's what in the streets we call that nut. That's right there. But brother Tamani, that took me back to a quote that Marcus Garvey said, another quote that Garvey said. He said, if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life.
That's right.
So courage and confidence above anything, including intellect, including wisdom, all of those things are mandatory and necessary as well. But bang, if you ain't got no confidence and no courage, you might well go on to kill your goddamn self. You might well go commit suicide. Because white folks gonna come see you. Or whoever you trying to go against, they gonna come see you.
No doubt.
The question is, do you have the courage and the confidence to now get in the game regardless of the goddamn consequence?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what this thing is all about. But they use the white boy, they get him ready to learn how to do finance. They get him ready to learn how to do banking, and they do an excellent job. They do an excellent job. And the building that they bought housed banks. Damn, damn, that's gangster. So now, how did they learn how to maneuver on all the information? It was subtly stated in the movie, but it wasn't really directly brought out, but you got to connect the dots. They bought this banking building downtown LA. They had all of these banks. So how did they learn the business of all the banks?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Anybody? See, Trey, this is why you come to a damn Craig Lee workshop on the damn.
Back in his knowledge when he was in Texas and studying.
In LA. This is what led. You have the civil rights stuff going on in terms of them wanting to take that leap. But there was something, there had to be something in them for them to believe that they could make that kind of goddamn move in banking. So it happened in LA. So what was it? How did they get the information for them to believe that they could pull some shit like that off?
There was weren't they janitors or something?
Oh,
Right.
Your ass is saying all of know how to connect the dots. Connect the dots, Harlan. They were janitors. So break it down, Harlan.
Yeah, this you know, if you're a janitor in the building, then you always overhear a conversation and you take the trash out.
All right, okay.
I have had plastic gloves on many times going through Dallas. Looking
He's a
looking for
participant. Harlan knows because he has participated.
Harlan's been spooked by the dog and the help. Excellent. Excellent.
Look how clever this shit is. Know me. Follow me. They use the white boy, teach him up, coach him up to buy the goddamn building, the biggest building downtown LA that houses banks. And they ask, now pose as janitor. In order to go through the goddamn information, the trash, overhear conversations.
Oh, I stuck me like 25, 50 sunshines in there too.
Hey, ironically, when you research him, Harlan, he wasn't just the only one. They were using multiple white folks, and I'm quite sure they had to use some white females.
Mm-hmm.
Some white sunshine. What Harlan just referenced is sunshine from the movie Harlem Nights. That's why you got to watch these movies. She was the sister prostitute, and she put it on the little mafia dude Richie. And Richie woke up one morning after being with Sunshine.
I'm through.
And he called his goddamn house, know me, and the children answered the phone. He said, "How you doing?" He said, "Let me talk to your mom."
Put your mom on the phone.
Never coming home.
That's right.
And he told his goddamn wife, he said, "How you doing?" "Girl, I ain't never coming home." Never!
When she go black.
Goddamn sunshine! Sunshine, goddamn. So Harlan is saying, put in some white sunshine. And Harlan, you best believe, before I even saw this movie 20 years ago, I was already saying, people were saying, "Well, Craig, how you gonna get this building, Shreveport? How you gonna get this building?" I'm going to the strip club. I'm going to the prostitute strip. They were like, "What they got to do with the building?" I'm gonna find me some white girls.
That's right.
I'm gonna put the white girls on the white board so I can get the goddamn white intel. So I can use the goddamn white intel for the benefit of my ass. Nigga, this is guerrilla warfare, goddamn.
Chess moves.
Moves up in.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
it was subtly placed in the movie, but you had to connect the dots. the whole move to Texas is because they felt that they had learned the process. But just like the Black Panthers, when they marched their asses to the state capitol in Texas, they didn't understand, yeah, okay, you learn a little bit about the process, a little bit about the law, and you see you can carry guns, but guess what? Guess what, goddammit? The laws change, goddammit. And we'll change them tomorrow. And then you read the book, well, you know, the law says, wait a minute, there's an asterisk now by that, because they just went and changed.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be in control, as somebody says, of municipalities. Then you get leverage at the state level. Then you get leverage at the federal level. You'll never control policy at the federal goddamn level. You'll never control policy at the state level. You know why, Nomi? Because you didn't work for the federal government. Why we ain't gonna control policy at the federal and state government, Nomi?
It's a lot of reasons. So you tell me. I don't know.
It all gets down to one thing. It's the votes.
You don't have the numbers.
You'll never have the numbers to pass goddamn legislation. It's really that simple. There are other mechanics, you know, technicalities inside of that, but you ain't never gonna have the numbers. We're the third largest ethnic group in the country. So we ain't gonna never have the numbers at the federal level, Congress, federal level, Senate, state level, House, state level, Senate. So that's why it's like, you try and educate our people about how this works. They don't get it. It really gets down to a basic numbers game. But guess what you can control, no? You can control 19 people at the local level in the city of Shreveport, 5 on the city council, 7 on the parish commission, 7 on the school board, and now be in control of over $1 billion.
There it is.
Then you can set the goddamn policy. You can be in control of the executive branch, Nomi. You can be in control of the goddamn local military. You know what the local military is in all these cities, y'all?
Yep. Police department.
Police department, what else department?
The National Guard.
No, you can't control that. That's state.
Or the state.
Police department, what else?
Police department, sheriff's department.
And one other.
Damn.
What was Gunsmoke all based on?
The Western the Gunsmoke?
Yeah. Who was the main character in Gunsmoke?
It was the sheriff, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, what
Matt
sheriff?
Dillon. What was he?
I thought he was a sheriff. I don't know.
The marshal.
Oh, the marshal. Okay, close enough.
At the marshal department, sheriff department, police department. The marshal department and the sheriff department are elected positions. The police department is an appointed position by the mayor. So you can control the mayor, executive branch. You can control the city council, parish county commission, and school board on the legislative branch. And you can then get some leverage in the judicial system because they're designated seats based on the population of the ethnic groups in the city at city court and parish court. And you can determine who the hell brings a case to court or not bring a case to court. Who determines that?
The prosecutor?
The district attorney.
Okay.
Okay.
And when you take all that to another level, when you start doing that in multiple municipalities, you're talking about multiple resources, multiple militaries, multiple DAs, multiple opportunities, multiple budgets, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
All of which is right there for the taking.
So that is the important thing that you got to understand as to why he believed that he could do this. And, you know, sometimes you can be smarter than what the hell you believe you are. Because there are levels to this goddamn game. And though he was a smart, creative, innovative, hardworking brother, he didn't have the esoteric understanding of the system. He didn't have the esoteric information. And so now in 1963, he goes back to Willis, Texas, right on the outskirts of Houston, to now do this thing. And what thing was he trying to do? In the acquisition of the bank in Texas, which had already worked for them in California, he was trying to leverage what? What was he trying to leverage, y'all? What was he trying to leverage to pull this deal off?
I can't remember, but I know from watching the movie a while back, Texas screwed them up. It was some type of psychological issue he had that I just felt was the wrong chess move. And all
That's true. But what was he trying to leverage though, Harlan? Because it had already worked for him in LA, California. He was trying to leverage one thing because he knew it could work in California, but he believed it could work in Texas as well. What is the one thing he was trying to leverage?
He wasn't trying to leverage his portfolio that he built in California. No.
Anybody else?
He thought he could get away with the same thing in both places, because
exactly, what was he trying to leverage?
White people.
race.
White people.
Race.
Yeah, exactly. Whiteness. This girl can't. She knew the damn answer from last night. Whiteness. He was trying to leverage white. You're absolutely correct, Harlan. Right. He was trying to leverage whiteness. That's why you see what I'm saying, Harlan? Since he did it in California, he believed, because they don't understand the game. Like what you do in one place, okay, that works there, but unless you're in control of the apparatus, that don't mean that it's gonna work in another place. Because he really didn't understand the full game in California. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But he was trying to leverage whiteness. When you just mentioned getting you some white sunshine, what are we really trying to leverage?
Sex.
White people.
Whiteness.
Right.
Yeah, whiteness and what it brings.
Cause see, sex can leverage some intel, but white sex with a white man can leverage more intel.
Right.
We need some white sex. Okay, Harlan, that's your job. Go get some white sex. Oh, that's funny.
Well,
I
don't think I would have used white girls because not only in the other movie was Sunshine was politically incorrect, so Sunshine would have needed to be kept in the dark unless he moved into a black neighborhood. So if I got a Sunshine in the building and you like her and you start messing around on your white wife with Sunshine, other white people are going to look at you like if they find out that that this is not good, you're going to be looked down upon. That's not only are you going to tell her whatever she wants to know, but you're going to do whatever is necessary to keep that a secret. More so than because push come to shove, you'll leave your white wife for the other white girl that you fall in love with or whatever, who's more sympathetic to our cause, but he ain't gonna necessarily do that for a black Sunshine.
Oh, but that's why I'm agreeing with you when you said the white sunshine. You use that's why I say leveraging white sex. White sex with a white sunshine, she can go more places than the Negro.
Yep.
You see? And so when you look at the movie Trick Baby, it is a great example of white sex because Trick Baby, who is a Negro in all actuality, but he appears to be white, hence the term Trick Baby, he rolls with a white chick, and so he leverages the white sex to his benefit because she's connected to the plutocrats in the film. See,
Right.
a Negro sunshine ain't gonna be connected to no goddamn white plutocrat. Now,
Correct.
the cracker may tell you some base level information, but you ain't gonna never gain access to where you can blend in with the plutocrats. And so the white chick in Trick Baby, she was able to get intel to bring back to the Trick Baby, and he could have played it deeper, but he really didn't like her. So, but she was down to rolling with his ass, you know. But he knew that she wanted a relationship as well, and he didn't want to deal with it because he was struggling with the desire to really be black. Because he hated being perceived as a cracker. He hated it.
Right.
But this would have, so the point that you made about the white sunshine, Paulin, is absolutely on point. Hence why I came up with the term last night, leveraging whiteness. Whether
Right.
it's white male, white female. He understood how to leverage on whiteness with a white male on a basic level. I'm talking about, remember Harlan, they went on and got him learning how to play golf. They showed him how to eat properly. Yeah. Okay. And what's so funny, when I was with Astra Pharmaceuticals, we had to go through that same bullshit. We had to go through this manners to learn how to eat cracker continental style. We had to go through learning how to drink wine and eat soup and all this bullshit. Man, I'm like, give me a hamburger. I ain't got time for it. So, but you got to know these things when you're in those spaces. Okay. He says there's another line in here. Hold on. Oh, when they went back to Willis, Texas, Neil Long's character said something very profound when he was going to take a walk to town. He was struggling with that because he wanted to show them that I'm a smart Negro. So Neil Long said, take Junior with you. He needs to see where you come from up close. Again, reality. But he was struggling with idealism. And I said, idealism of unconscious Negroes in this illusion called the American dream. But what was going on in 1963 when he went back to Willis, Texas on the National Front?
The civil rights movements, right?
Civil rights, Black Power movements.
Yeah, it just started.
True, but it was one thing that really was, that's connected to the civil rights. One thing that happened in 63 that really, really got him into believing that I'm about to do this goddamn thing. I'm gonna do my. What was that?
It had to be somewhat integration, right? Either
I don't remember.
Either education or
The March on
the March on Washington. Well, why would that help him think I'm about to do the thing? Because was he thinking black people have arrived or something?
Yeah.
So,
Because
yeah.
we're marching?
Remember, Martin Luther King's speech was, "We came here for our goddamn check."
That means you're gonna get it.
Right,
Yeah.
but Tamani, you looking at this at the March on Washington with the lens of time
Of today,
rather
okay.
than looking forward, you know.
Okay.
So that was his miscalculation in Texas into thinking that he could come out of the closet.
Exactly.
But
Okay.
but even white power is hidden. Real power remains hidden.
Sure.
Because
Exactly.
right. And so that was again, like Craig says, a miscalculation.
Dig it. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Very big miscalculation because he was never. Remember, there's a part where Samuel Jackson's character says, because he was trying to sell Samuel Jackson on this being a great business move. And this is to Harlan's point and my point. Samuel Jackson's character says, that's social activism. And he said, there are other ways to do that. But see, He then tried to go in the paint at Samuel Jackson. He said, you wouldn't understand. And it was a disrespectful thing. So Samuel Jackson said, when I woke up this morning, I was black. You see, so he said, I'm apologizing. But the point was, here now we get into the element of so-called status. Because Samuel Jackson's people were born or came from a little money. They were in real estate already. He owned 2 clubs. He was a part of the underworld as well in California. So he was already connected to the mayor, city council. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So the way that Bernard Garrett was looking at it, man, you don't understand where I come from. I come out these goddamn streets. I got it out the mud, right? Yeah. So he's trying to make a social activism decision. He was trying to disguise it as a business decision. And Samuel Jackson, to Harlan's point, and to my point, it was a bad business move. Yeah. But trying to sell it as a legitimate business move, but it was actually social activism. Because he was trying to say, how am I going to make an impact in this market? And I guarantee you, although we don't have any proof of it, I guarantee you he heard Martin Luther King speak about going to Washington to cash a goddamn check that was now insufficient. It came back insufficient. Y'all remember that speech? Yep. So think about it, Tamani. He's in the banking game, right? So now, shit, I'm going to show him how it's done. We're going to show him how it's done. Now, they did recognize, Harlan, that they still needed to be hidden, but they didn't understand the levels of the game of information, because how in the hell could you hide Negroes getting loans when they've never gotten loans before? All of a sudden, the bank changes hands and Negroes start to get loans. And these were good situations, but you already should have known that would bring up some inquiry.
Some oversight and scrutiny.
Exactly. Yeah. But I gotta take my hat off to him. I don't give a fuck how unplanned, how not well thought out it was. What did they have? They had some goddamn courage, right, and some goddamn confidence.
That's right.
They ain't have all the levels of the game. I give them an A+ because they weren't sitting on the goddamn side.
That's right.
Like most Negroes do.
Yep.
And that's why I'm appreciative of Harlan for getting in the space of what? Cryptocurrency and investing, because this is what we've been talking about the past few months. So he said something that was powerful. He said, home ownership and business ownership through access to capital. So if you don't have capital, you can't access home ownership, which don't never happen in the United States. Anyway, you can invest in homes, but you'll never own them. But you can't own businesses. You see, that's why white folks don't want your ass to have no money for no business. You say, well, Craig, why don't you own a home? Because you always pay taxes. So the white folks don't have a problem, for the most part, loaning you money for cars and to some degree homes, because they can come back and repossess them. But as it relates to businesses, your ass might hit a home run. We can't trust you on that.
That's too much.
You might fuck around and get in a conversation with Harlan Robinson, and he teach you how this crypto shit work, and y'all get in early on the next Bitcoin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Hey, Harlan, you know what this, although this was a white TV sitcom, do you know the great thing about this movie, The Banker, and it was played out in the white television comedy sitcom? What sitcom was that, y'all?
White television sitcom? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't watch enough TV. I don't know.
When you were little, Nomi, what is the answer?
I think Nomi left.
When I was little?
Yeah. The Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh.
How?
Mr. Drysdale, the banker. You start, remember, they country ass people.
Uh-huh.
They ain't wanted in Beverly Hills. They just struck it rich. So they moved to Beverly Hills. Mr. Drysdale is trying to do anything and everything to keep their goddamn money in their bank. So I'm just drawing a parallel that here there was a banking sitcom comedy that was done, but it was talking about a lot of these issues that was in the Ash, the movie. And lastly, Samuel Jackson said something, brother, and this is where I'm at, Harlan and the remaining people on this call. This is where I'm at, and this is why I use the term, I'm a corporate grassroots revolutionary. Goddamn Samuel Jackson said something, and I would imagine Joe Morris said this because it's so gangster. And Harlan, you will appreciate this. Even a rigged game even a rigged game is fun to play. Do you know how gangster of a statement that is? And of course, as the movie ends, what now ends up happening, the other big piece of federal legislation that doesn't really get talked about a lot is the Federal Housing Act of 1968.
Yep.
And so that was, these cats' names should be ringing all out. But why? Because the propaganda of wanting your punk ass to keep on dreaming, Martin Luther King. I love Malcolm, but Malcolm them, this is fucking revolution right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Every day, all day. Yes, sir. No doubt.
So when Samuel Jackson told him, you're a goddamn revolution. That wasn't no goddamn revolution shit that the Black Panther Party was talking about. That was romanticism. That was idealism. This was, hey man, you talking about robbing a goddamn bank?
Legally.
Literally. Shit. Hey man, but hey man, what if, do you think, here's a question. Do you think if these cats had been connected, if the Black Panthers had started a few years earlier, do you think these cats could have worked together? Do you think the Black Panthers would have listened to these cats?
No.
I don't think so.
I'm going to say I don't know. I don't know if Fred Hampton wouldn't have listened. I don't know about the other two. I'm not sure about Bobby and Huey, but I don't know if Fred Hampton wouldn't have listened because he was so young and still, I think, quite impressionable. So I don't know.
But he was so, remember, they wouldn't have listened. Harlan, why wouldn't they have listened, Harlan?
Because they had different ideas about they had unproven ideas about how to get, power and security.
And what were those unproven ideas?
Integration. We can all get along. They're gonna power concedes power. I don't know. I guess
You're right in the ballpark. Their unproven ideas was the bullshit ideas of who?
Marx and Lenin.
The goddamn communism.
Yeah.
The goddamn Stalinism. See, they were anti-capital. You see, so they wouldn't have never. To Harlan's point,
I say I don't know because I remember. I don't know if it was a school or a bank, but I think it was a bank. I think it was a bank where the conversation I'm talking about.
Credit union.
Yeah, a credit union. So Fred Hampton says, you know, where's the education? Because if we don't educate the people, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to say, I don't know if these people showed up. I don't know, man. I don't know.
My belief is they would have rejected it because
No. I'm just talking about Fred Hampton specifically, just him, not everybody else.
But see, he would have rejected it as well, but because they were so entrenched with that goddamn Marxism and that communism and that socialism.
Yeah.
They were entrenched with that shit.
Yeah. Here's an observation. I don't know if I'm correct or not. But that those ideas are attractive because they might, I guess the lure is that it affects the greatest amount of people, where capitalism, you know, creates a lot of winners and you know, a lot of losers.
Yeah.
See, under communism or socialism, everybody wins.
Perceptively.
The perception is that everybody wins. So you can get a lot of mediocre people, a lot of you know, average people to go along with that because then they get a piece of the pie and all they got to do is show up.
Ain't gotta do no
they
work,
don't actually have to do anything. You see what I'm saying? They can
Yeah.
be seduced into going down this road because they'll get more under that ideology than they would under capitalism, because under capitalism they only get what they in theory earn or steal. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. I like that. What they earn or steal.
Right.
I like that. And Harlan, that, you know, in having to really get into the research on the Panthers and those entities, Stokely, Carmichael, Kwame Ture, Angela Davis, man, bruh, I just had to conclude, brother, they were so fucked up with not understanding that at the core of capitalism is the Afrocentric philosophy of economic and political philosophy of free enterprise. And we created that. We're the original business people of the planet. Like, if your punk ass don't work, you don't eat. That ain't no white supremacist concept. That's an Afrocentric concept. So you trying to figure out how to let people who will do marginalism, you trying to figure out how to make sure that they can maneuver just like somebody who got the same ideas as Harlan Robinson or Craig Lee or Brother Trey or Brother Tyro or Brother Tamani? No, sir. No, sir. I can't go with that. I can't go with that. I can't go with that at all. And so these cats were revolutionary. Yeah, there are major flaws in capitalism based on the people who run the system. And again, if you extrapolate our system that is the core, the nucleus of capitalism, all you have then is white supremacy racism. You bring free enterprise under another concept of what I call culturalism, where culturalism is every ethnic group got to have a seat at the table at the local, state, and federal level, but really I'm talking just local, and you now give your input as to how the policies should roll, but that's all. Other than that, from the economic standpoint, you got to get out and make it happen. But we ain't going to create all of these barriers to create the illusion that it's fair and just, but when it's in reality, it's not fair and just. So
Right.
You're not going to change that at the state and federal level. You can get some input on it, knowing that the powers that be ain't going to do it at the state, federal, and international level, but at the local level and hauling in the cloud, you can make that happen.
Yeah. Yep. Which is why I was, you know, I was apprehensive about, you know, you keep having a lot of people keep coming to us with these ideas about let's do our own crypto. Well, when you do that, you kind of separate yourself out,
Exactly.
and then power can focus on you.
Exactly.
And we don't need no help being on target.
Correct. And so it's much easier. Like you can't, if you created another Bitcoin that actually took off, they could actually shut it down.
Exactly. Exactly.
As opposed to you drinking the same Kool-Aid, being in at the ground floor, they have to shut down their own wallets to shut this down.
Exactly. Exactly.
Chess moves,
Right.
chess moves. I can dig it. I can dig
That-
it.
Right.
I agree with you 100%, Brother Harlan. And that's all that I have for today, man. But this is a good film. Do some research on these guys behind the scenes. Look at some of our other financial institutions over the years. And the Freedmen's Bank that was created after Civil War, 1865. The Freedmen's Bureau started to put resources, and then you can see how they stole money from our people. But let this be inspiration, especially now, to get into the space that Brother Harlan wants us to be in, and that we need to be in, that we must be in with this cryptocurrency, decentral finance revolution.
Cool. All right. So before we close this thing out, does anybody have a question or comment for Brother Craig about the movie? Anything at all? Any questions going once? Any questions going twice? Okay, cool, because I got something else to do. All right, so as always, we want to thank you guys for taking time to be a part of the Conscious Connections for Revolutionary Change, our bi-weekly movie review. I think Brother Craig has already said that the next movie we're going to do is the Vernon Jordan story. I just got to find out. It's not on YouTube. I wasn't able to find it yet, so maybe it's on Netflix or something, but I'll find out.
It's supposed to be. It should be on.
Yo, I found snippets, but not the entire movie. But I'll continue to do a research. So, with that, always remember two things: no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of Black people. So, with that, thank you guys very much. God bless, and y'all have a good one.
All right.
Peace.